Everyone guys, Corky Raf here, and today we're going to have a different video, but it's still FIFA related. And today I'm going to make my own team using the best cards that I've used throughout the season. Now, just in time for the mid-season patch, here are some of my top players that I've personally used. This is not actually the best cards in the game because some of which are really expensive, some of which are really hard to obtain. But um, throughout my playthrough, I've found some really good cards that you don't really have to spend much in this game. But some you may think that it is really expensive on the transfer market and so on. But without further ado, let's start. Now, the only stipulation here is I'm going to select players that I've personally used and not those high highly overall cards. Those high overall cards because they're really expensive and they played a significant amount of games on head-to-head and VSA. So without further ado, let's start. So for the goalkeeper position, we have uh, Unai Simon. He's playing for Athletic Bilbao. And the reason that he's in this team is because of his reflexes. I really like his gameplay um, during one-on-ones, during near post situations. And the only bad thing about this card is the long shots, but which pretty much you can speak about any goalkeeper in this edition of FIFA Mobile. They tend to freeze on long shots and also in angled shots, finesse shots. But I still like this card, and he played a lot of games for me. Now for the right back position, um, we have Zanetti from Inter Milan. This specific card, and the reason for it is because he's really solid at the back. He's really solid at the back. Now you don't really need to put him more on a more forward position for overlap runs because he doesn't have much pace, which is the only bad thing about this card. But when it comes to defensive positions, and if you put him at captain, uh, you're pretty much fine in the defensive front on your right side. So although this card is outdated, but personally, this is one of the best right backs in the game. Now, for the center back position, for the first center back position, I'm going to put here William Saliba. Not the Arsenal one. I don't think there's an Arsenal card for this one, but this team of the season Saliba. And the reason for that is it's because he wins everything. This card wins everything. And he also has so much pace for a center back, and he can basically whenever Zanetti or any right back that I use makes an over pursuit, he can cover the hole left by the any defender from the center mid, from the right back. He's really fast and tough for a center back, and he wins in corners. He actually is a corner god. Now for the other center back position, I'm putting here Clement Lenglet, another Frenchman. This guy, he is also a head god. He's also good at headers. He's also not really as much as pace as Saliba, although he's much higher overall than Saliba. But yeah, that's the thing. He is kind of a as slower than what his overall suggests, but he's really solid at the back. Use this card, Lenglet. And also really good at corners as well. Now for the left back, I'm going to put Manchester City and Portugal's Joao Cancelo. This specific card, because this is actually the one that I've used, Joao Cancelo. This edition of the card, and the reason for that is because he's like the polar opposite of Zanetti. As a left back, he's much more offensive minded, but he can basically cover and track back whenever there's a counter attack. Or you can put him on corners and use him as a outlet on the outside to cross. He's really good at crosses. I enjoyed using this because of the crosses. This edition of Joao Cancelo. Now for the sentiment position, let me change the for I'm using the holding mid because it is the usual formation that I've used throughout the season. Now for the CDM, I'm going to put here uh, Roy Keane. Now why Roy Keane? He's so slow. Same reasons apply for Langlet. He's actually lengthy for a CDM. He's dominant in the air, and he might not have the speed for a CDM that you want to track back and protect the back four, a speedy CDM, but he can basically intercept everything and can be a good distributor too. Don't you just don't use him for long passing situations, but for short passes you can go for the short middle passing route. Then this card is amazing defensively and short and when distributing the ball in the middle. You can use this card. This card is really good as a CDM. Now for the next card, I'm going to put here the reward in the group stage challenges. Rude Hulip. Now the reason for that is because he is basically the jack of all trades. He's great in defense. He's great in attack. He's great at everything. Put him in corners, and you might have a 50-50 chance of having a successful set piece routine. You can use him to track back, you can go forward with him. He's so amazing at everything. They might have nerfed him in the previous patches because of how overpowered this card is, but you can never go wrong. He's still actually really good. Rude Hulik. Now, for the other CM, other center bit that I really like to use this year and was really good at it is Federico Valverde. This this is basically baby Hullet. This is Hullet before this card existed. He's good in attack, he's good in defense, he can track back, and good in corners as well and set pieces. This card, Hullet and Valverde, they're basically clones in my experience. It's just that Valverde kind of fades out because of the patches and low overall. You need someone that is better, but I've enjoyed using Federico Valverde. Same reasons apply as Hullet. Now for the right wing position, I'm going to use, or I'm going to pick the ultimate team of the season, Mohamed Salah. Now I've used a, I feel like I grinded this out, Mohamed Salah, and I also got him on a transfer market and sold it at a high price. Now for this card, this is the best right wing in this game. This is the best right winger in the game, rather. He basically can cross, he can cut inside, but the playstyle that you want to have in this card is to cut inside and use those finesse shots because finesse shots are overpowered in this game, even though the recent patches kind of fixed it to make the goalkeeper react on time. But still, this card is amazing. He has pace, 5-star skill moves, 5-star weak foot. You can shoot with his right or left in the near post and still has a high chance of going in. This is basically the best right winger in the game. And for the left winger, we're going to have Yannick Ferreira Carrasco from Atletico Madrid. Now, for this card, this is basically a Salah clone. but with a little bit of height because this guy is 6'1". You can use him in corners as your other player that you can head the ball with and score. And not only that, he has pace and he has really good stats for a left winger. This guy has great long shots as well. And I prefer him to against him as Salah drive him inside, cut inside and go for the long shots. Or you can use him in crossing as well, but crossing has been nerfed in this game, and uh, this is the difference between other left wingers who you prefer to cross with, and others that are really great in everything, and Carrasco is one of that. Now for the striker position, I'm going to put here the end of an era, Luis Suarez. Wait, where is it? Yes, this guy. He is amazing. He has great all-around stats for a striker, although he's not the tallest of uh, the strikers. But he actually gets most of the time those 50-50 balls. And also he has pace. He actually has a really great pace for a 98 overall. You can basically thread through balls, and he actually has good physical stats. So you can use him as your target man to hold up the ball and feed it to the wingers like Salah and Carrasco. So yeah, this guy actually has good long shot, and inside the box you can just hold him and then one touch and shoot. This guy scores everything from headers to long shots. Suarez is one of my favorite strikers in the game. So that is my starting 11 um, for my team. Now let's go on to the bench because I have some honorable mentions um, that I want to include in this team. Now, for the goalkeeper position, I'm going to put Mark Flecken. Now, he is one of the best goalkeepers in this game. He's my main goalkeeper after I got the Van der Sar. No, before I got the Van der Sar, 105 overall, I think 104. But I think this guy is better. A Dutch goalkeeper that is way better than Van der Sar because he's 6 foot. I think 6'5". Van der Sar is 6'6", but I prefer to use this guy. Now the reason that he's not on my main 11, on the starting 11, is because I have Unai Simon played way more games than him. I really like Mark Flecken. Um, I can put him on first 11, but I think Simon has been a staple for my team, and Flecken is a really great card. If you do not have the time to get the Van der Sar, then get this guy. He's amazing. He's great in defending long shots. He's great in near post situations. So yeah, that's my reserve goalkeeper. For the center back position, or the one of my two defenders in this substitutes or honorable mentions, I can either include Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling, the 95 overall. He's amazing. He's basically, if Sally, um, he's basically a Saliba clone, Chris Smalling. The reason for him not being on my first 11 is because he's not pacey and sometimes gets lost when a more skilled player um, gets onto him. Saliba can track back and has the agility to go toe to toe with more skilled players. Yeah, that's the reason why I put Saliba ahead of Small. But this card is amazing and can play long balls too. Also, I want to have another honorable mention to other players, such as the team of the season, Milan Skriniar. Yes, and can be a good link to Saliba, although they are in different leagues. But this card is amazing, can complement well to Saliba. I've used that combination um, for most of the period in which these cards are amazing. And I can also include Ibrahima Konate. He's really solid. And his links to other nations and leagues can be handy too. The reason for this card not being in the first 11 is because, um, again, he cannot go toe to toe with more skilled players. But he's really solid. He's a tank. You I'm gonna leave him there. Now for the fullback position, the reserve fullback position, I'm going to put Roberto Carlos here. And the reason for that is because he's basically an upgrade to Joao Cancelo. He's basically a direct upgrade, but I feel like in retrospect, I had so much fun using Joao Cancelo. And I sometimes get frustrated with Roberto Carlos is because he's in most or in some cases he actually over pursues his marker. He leaves a hole bigger than most fullbacks who like to overlap. But I'm going to include here, I'm going to include him in this team. Now, another honorable mention for the fullback position, reserve fullback position, is the Liverpool left back, Konstantinos Chimikas. This guy's a really good crosser too, and doesn't really leave much of a hole at that left back position. Now, the only reason that he's not on the first 11 is because he doesn't have much agility than what his stats suggest. Now, for the midfield, I'm going to put Aurelien Chouameni, this 103 overall. And the reason for that is because I had so much fun using Keen that having an upgrade for Chouameni is basically just a bonus. And you want to use this card for everything. But I had so much fun memories of using Keen that he basically slots in into my starting 11. But use this card. This card is great. He can basically do long shots and basically everything. He's basically the upgraded version of all other CDMs. He has size, he has pace, and another center mid that or you want to use is Tony Cruz, the 99 overall Tony Cruz. Now the reason for that he's not on my first 11, although he's one of my favorite players to use, is because he doesn't have much pace for a center mid, although you don't expect much pace from Cruz anyway. But he's amazing in passing situations, long passing situations, and uh, you can even use him for long shots. I'm surprised that he actually scored many goals for me from outside of the box. And that's Tony Cruz for you. Now another thing that you can add here on on the other honorable mention for the center mid position is Charles Aranguiz. He's basically the more hardworking version of Tony Cruz. And you might want to pair him. You want to use this card basically as an energizer coming off the bench. But um, even though he is basically a much more energized Cruz, he can still have some problems when it comes to defending. Somehow he doesn't have the agility to track back or speed to track back rather. This card is still amazing. Here, Tony Cruz. And for the forwards, the reserve forwards, I'm going to put here honorable mention Federico Chiesa from Juventus. Now, the only reason that I didn't put Chiesa on the list, although he actually has a significant time had a significant time playing with him, is because his agility is now dated. I've used Chiesa even though Carrasco is still Carrasco. I can afford Carrasco. I can use him, but the one thing that um, the difference between Chiesa and Carrasco is the agility. Not with the usual overall, because he's going to be worse than Carrasco, but the agility and crossing ability of Chiesa, as well as the height. You can, but this card can do what Carrasco does in every style that you want him to be. Just not with the speed, agility, and crossing ability. But that's okay, because I feel Chiesa can still be one of the best left wingers in the game, with the budget left winger. And another winger that you can use is this card, Jaden Sancho. This elite. This is the only elite card that basically lasts for like 3 months. And this card is amazing. This guy has pace, and basically every player abused this card, uh, cutting inside and using finesse shots. This card is amazing and lasted for about 3-4 months before being dated by other good right wingers. If you want to have a startup team, then use this card, Jaden Sancho. Now for the striker position, I have two honorable mentions, and this guy is going to the bench for me, Eric Cantona. Reason that he's not really on my starting 11, although he suits my play style as a striker, holding up the ball and feeding it to my wingers. He doesn't really have the pace, out and out pace to get through the to get behind the lines for through balls, and his power headers, because FIFA nerfed the heading in this game. His power header trait is pretty much useless, but I really enjoy this card. Shot power, you can basically shoot the ball from anywhere. And Eric Cantona, one of the best strikers that I've used. And another striker that I want to mention is Ollie Watkins. Now, in this channel, I basically um, um, had a compilation of goals, and most of them are from Ollie Watkins. This card is amazing for its overall. He has pace, he has strength, and because although he's undersized for a striker, we're not really undersized. He has a pace of a winger, a strength of a center back, and um, has a heading stats for a complete center forward. This card is amazing. He has 4-star skills, but I think 4-star skills and 4-star weak foot. Well, 3-star weak foot. But this card is a beast. This card is a beast. If you want to have a full English team with Sancho, Smalling, put this card. This card is amazing for his price. So I'm going to put in Cantona. Put Cantona here. So, here it is. This is my team of team of the season so far in the mid-season patch. So as you can see here, the goalkeeper, the back four, the midfield trio, and the front three. And here is my uh, substitutes, together with all of the cards that together with all of the honorable mentions. They are really great personally for me. But if you want to discuss with me your favorite 11, let me know in the comments below. And as of right now, this is my first This is my team of the season of the mid-season patch. So make sure if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment what you will change in this squad, and see you next time. Peace out.